welcome back. AllTakesValid, episode 27. As always, I go by Trill Trayy, joined as always with SP21 R Spence.
You
And
already know it.
so, Vic, why don't you go ahead and give them the rundown for today's show?
All right, so for today's episode, we will be going over the games that have transpired, which at this time it is 7:19 p.m. Eastern. Um, we had already seen the Colts lose to the Buffalo Bills 27-24. Um, and right now, currently, the Rams are beating the Seattle Seahawks 20-13. Aaron Donald is currently walking off the field. He has a rib injury from what was just recently stated. After we talk about what happened with the earlier game, we will be talking about the Hall of Fame list that Spence has on his background. They came out with that early. Was it yesterday, right?
Earlier this week.
Yeah, early this week. So, and then to end off, we'll be talking about the Sunday football games that will be happening tomorrow. So, with that being said, y'all take on the first game, Colts versus the Buffalo Bills. We'll start off with Spence.
Was it a fumble? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But that was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. But I don't know. Congrats on the Bills. Got their first win in 29 years. That's a long time. That is a long time. Wow. And the sad part is that the Bills wasn't really had some okay quarterbacks during that time period, but not, I guess, none that could able to get to a playoffs. But I know one thing's for sure. Even if they lose next round, Josh Allen's getting a hefty upgrade. Just saying.
That's true. That's true.
And also, I think Diggs found his home.
Oh yeah, most.
Diggs found his home. He's like, oh yeah, I could live here.
Yeah, that's what he's been asking for. He's been wanting to be the number one receiver on his prospective team. He just want the ball, basically. They weren't treating him right in Minnesota, so he finally got his opportunity, and he's definitely done a good job. I was impressed with. I mean, I wouldn't say I wasn't expecting it to be a blowout from the Buffalo Bills. It was definitely a better game. I was thinking that Phillip Rivers and the Colts were gonna pull it out, but then again, I seen that stat that he has only one career game-winning drive in the playoffs, and that was against the Colts, his current team right now, when he was with the
Chargers.
the San Diego.
Chargers.
So shows obviously he hasn't had that much success. He is the NFL's playoff P. So yeah, I mean, they did a good job overall. It was definitely an interesting game. Almost controversial. Well, actually, it was controversial, but I don't know. So other than that, Trey.
I would just want to pick up on, I guess, the point you just made about, while he hasn't had as much success in the playoffs per se, this is the first time losing in the wild card.
Mm.
And I think it was more so coaching than anything. I don't necessarily fault him. He actually kept them pretty much, or brought them back in that game, I would say. The three before half, the field goal that they opted not to take. I said it then, it was way too early in the game. That was the first half still for you guys. I get it. They had a potential touchdown. He hit Pittman in the hands, and it's a rookie, and he just probably could have changed the game. But at the same time, in that situation, just take the 3. I guess I get their mindset. They was trying to make them drive the length of the field. They were giving them a bunch of possessions within their own, end zone or whatever. But still, I'm taking the 3. I'm taking the 3. And then they end up right before half. They end up scoring, and so they went in to have 14-10, I believe it was, just kind of off that sequence.
Yeah.
They had an interception that was ruled not an interception after after their defensive lineman for the Colts jumped off sides on a dumb play. You gotta know better than that. It's the playoffs. And what's funny is that same sequence, the series before, the Colts tried to do the same thing to the Bills. They came out during the 4th down, lined up like they were gonna go for it, tried to do a hard count to get the defense to jump. They didn't. Like I said, a couple series later, the Bills do it, and it worked. Mm-hmm. And the next play is the play I'm talking about, where he threw an interception that wasn't interception. He just didn't possess it long enough in the end zone. Mm-hmm. So, which ended up leading to points. So I was gonna say it could have worked out against the Bills for trying that, but ultimately it did work.
I was surprised Josh Allen had threw that ball for that second time, because the first one offsides, like you said, he threw it to the same guy. I think his last name is Rogers. Yeah. Last name was Rogers, a young corner. And then the next play, threw it right back at his, in his direction. And he tried him again. And
I mean, that boy stretched out for it at all. Like, it was he tried to make a good play. He just didn't possess it. If he held the ball like a second longer, they call it an interception. But nonetheless, though, it's like little sequences, I feel like, change the game. And in playoff games, that's really what it's going to come down to. It's going to be little drives, little things that kill a drive, which kind of worries me about Pittsburgh in a sense, because how we've seen with us sometimes where we're having a good drive going, and on a easy third down conversion, we drop the ball. Possessions are going to count a lot in these playoff games, so you can't have stuff like that. Which again takes you back to you take those 3 points. You take those 3. At that point, they would have been up 13-10. Or no, more than that. Yeah, because they ended up scoring the touchdown. So at that point, though, the Colts would have had 13 before half. So nonetheless, whatever. Phillip tried some heroics in the end there, as Spence alluded to, as far as the fact of, was that a fumble or not a fumble? I think the majority of people thought it was a bullshit call, that it should have rightfully been the Bills' ball that was a fumble. But I understand by the way it was called on the field initially, you can't overturn it and say it's a fumble. Just based on how the rules are, in place. There's no definitive evidence that it was a fumble per se. So you have to call it with what it was called on the field. Now, if it was called initially, if they would have called it a fumble, it's different.
Yeah, that's all it is. I mean, if they have conclusive evidence to overturn the ruling on the field, then it's overturned. But if they can't tell, like, hey, if it's iffy and there's no definitive, shot to where they can say, yeah, that was or it wasn't a fumble, then that's the only way they can overturn it.
It was a game, I want to say week 17. It was something similar to that. I don't even remember which game I was watching, but basically it was a fumble. Certain team the whole Giants game. The Giants.
The Giants one. Yeah, it was the Giants and the Cowboys.
Giants and Cowboys game. Yeah. That whole thing. They gave the Giants the ball back. Similar situation.
Yeah, Wayne Gallman.
Yeah.
So
he fumbled it, but it was he went down with the ball. So that's they called him down by contact, even though the Cowboys came out of the pile on with the ball. So you go to challenge it, there's no way they can see you recover the ball under the whole pile of people. So they have to go with what was called on the field. He had possession when they blew the whistle dead. It is what it is. It's the same situation. Now, I know if the Bills would have ended up losing that game, Bills Mafia would have been pissed at the referees and said that they were screwed and this and that. But the defense stood up. They did their job. They didn't make excuses. And they got them boys off the field. Would you have attempted, I guess, a long field goal in that situation, or do you take the shot on 4th down?
I don't know. After the doink, I don't know.
Yeah, that kicker.
Need new glasses.
Throwing some lollipops though. I don't know if I trusted that either.
Yeah,
I think
honestly, I'd rather take the shot with the Hail Mary, because we all remember what happened with the Cardinals in Buffalo earlier this year.
Oh yeah.
But they also have a guy called DeAndre Hopkins. The Colts ain't got nobody like that on their team. T.Y. I like T.Y., but he ain't doing that.
Pittman's probably their only receiver, but I don't know.
He too young. He don't got that experience yet, as we've seen, because he should have caught the one that I'm talking about that they shouldn't have went for. Year 2, year 3, you can really get on him about dropping that one. He's a rookie. Y'all should have just took the kick. You should have just took the 3.
Just a quick update on the Rams and the Seahawks game. Rams just kicked the field goal, so now they're up 23-13. Just for all the fans, well, we're doing this live, but by the time y'all see this, it's going to be Sunday at noon. So, so I guess with that being said, anybody else have anything else to say about this game, or y'all good to go forward with the next topic?
I'm good. I mean, we all picked the Bills to win regardless. So I mean, like I said though, it wasn't gonna be just a blowout. Like I guess some people thought. I know the Bills were the hot team coming in, but that Colts defense is good. I feel like are a QB away, and no, not to Phillip Rivers. He led them. He did what he had to do for this season, but they need to go find a future quarterback that's going to take them into the this next decade and further on. So,
well, with your trade rumors, it might happen.
No,
that's true.
Yeah,
it's possible. But
to a division rival.
Listen. If it sounds good, it could be my own enemy since 6th grade.
Okay.
Hey, I mean, you got to.
If it sounds good, bump it. I'll deal with it.
At this point, if you're alluding to the Texans and the rumors that are going on with that whole Deshaun Watson situation, I mean, if you're the Texans at this point, after Bill O'Brien left the cupboard bare, you got to look at all your options really to try to rebuild that situation. So if it's an offer where I can get even a decent quarterback back and a pick, I might have to consider it. Or really, with Deshaun Watson, you're going to get multiple picks, but a decent person who I can place in and start right now. He's not going to be Deshaun Watson, more than likely, but you don't need him to be. That's what you're getting the draft picks for, to do whatever else with.
Yeah.
You're just trying to see what you could get. The Colts
salvage what you can.
As we talked about earlier on an earlier podcast this season, the Colts are going to be, I want to say, the leaders as far as available cap space going forward for next season. This coming
I believe so.
I know the top,
if not there, at least
Jacksonville, and I can't think of the third team, but nonetheless, they're going to have money to spend, and they're already, as you see, they're already a playoff team. They're already pretty decent. They're young on both sides of the ball. They're a quarterback away from maybe making a deeper push.
Yeah. So with that being said, just going into the Hall of Fame topic for this podcast, just for those that are either unaware or are aware of it, they came out with the list early this week. And in terms of who or how many people get into the Hall of Fame ceremony. There is no set number of enshrinees, but the committee has current ground rules, so that they do stipulate that between 4 and 8 new members will be selected each year. So just for those that don't know, it's always between 4 and 8 that are selected for each Hall of Fame inductees. So with that being said, we have the list of the 2021 Pro Football Hall of Fame. We have Peyton Manning, quarterback; wide receiver Calvin Johnson; wide receiver Torrey Holt; wide receiver Reggie Wayne; safety Leroy Butler; safety John Lynch; cornerback Rondé Barber; DB Charles Woodson; D end Jared Allen; defensive lineman Richard Seymour. We have linebacker Clay Matthews Jr., linebacker Sam Mills, linebacker Zach Thomas, and we have the last two is Alan Fenica, the offensive guard, and offensive tackle Tony Baselli, if I pronounced that right. So with that being said, we're gonna give our 4 to 8. I guess
No,
8 people that we.
how I would do how I say we should do it is do it more so based on the position in a sense. So
Well,
we
of
know
course.
Peyton Manning is a lock, so we're not even gonna waste time.
Yeah.
Like, we're not gonna waste
Yeah, he's definitely on.
been I mean he was first ballot before he retired, so like we're not even gonna waste our time on Peyton Manning. But there's 3
Yeah.
receivers,
Okay.
safeties, you got 2 DBs, which even though honestly looking at DBs, for me Charles Wilson's a lot too. I know you.
Yep.
I know you're a Rondé Barber. You're a Bucks fan, but let's be real. He ain't no Charles Woodson.
He's definitely not Charles Wilson.
But anyways, there's 2 DBs. Got 2 D linemen, 3 linebackers, and then 2 offensive linemen. So by position, looking at each position, I feel like we're gonna go through and just give the people who you feel like is a definite, hands down, out of the like. So let's say, for example, multiple receivers might go in, but which one do you feel is a guarantee that they get in? That's how we're going.
Gotcha.
All the positions.
Gotcha.
Including Peyton Manning, obviously at quarterback, who I don't think anybody would argue is the first ballot Hall of Famer. So
of course,
we don't got to go into stats. We don't got to go into that.
Manning is who. It's Peyton Manning.
Yes. So who wants to go first?
Go ahead and knock it out. I guess I'm just gonna give my definite ones, right? That's it.
Yeah, who you feel is the definite
number. All right, so Peyton Manning, you already said that one. I believe Alan Fenica, the offensive guard, he should be a definite Hall of Fame. Tony Baselli, offensive tackle, he should definitely be in there. Jared Allen, defensive end. I'm sold that he's a Hall of Fame defensive lineman. Charles Woodson, you stated that one. He should definitely be in there. Richard Seymour, I feel like he's definitely a Hall of Fame caliber player. Reggie Wayne for the Colts, he's a Hall of Famer. Hands down. Torrey Holt is another one that I have. And my last one that I'll say, the last two I'll say is Zach Thomas, linebacker, who played for the Miami Dolphins. And where is he? Safety John Lynch.
Wow, I'm surprised.
Why is that?
No, I honestly thought that you were gonna put Calvin Johnson ahead of Holt and Reggie Wayne.
Only reason why I didn't is just because of his short tenure, his career. He does have the numbers that, say, hey, he's a Hall of Fame caliber player, but and as anybody that knows me, Calvin Johnson is my favorite wide receiver of all time.
That's why I'm shocked. That's
Um,
exactly why I'm shocked. But I like that you weren't biased and that you really, yeah, he. A lot of time, the people that vote on these things, that's what they look at. They kind of fault you in a sense for like having shorter careers.
yeah.
How it happens with the whole voting process.
hmm
A
I wouldn't be
dude
shocked.
who played 15 years versus a dude who played 10, it's looked at different.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked though. I mean, if he does get in, just because, obviously they got Barry Sanders in there,
I
which
mean,
is,
so his impact is probably bigger than the other two. And
yeah,
I'm a Reggie Wayne, Hurricane fan. So Reggie
yeah.
Wayne, I look at him a totally different way. But Torrey
Mhm.
Holt, he was a part of that whole greatest show on turf thing.
Yeah.
But if you look at their numbers, like
Yeah.
just all numbers, they're both ahead of Calvin Johnson. Granted, no fault of his own,
Yep.
but he retired early, so
Mhm.
it's one of those things. But go ahead, Spence.
Yeah.
Well, of
I know
course,
you
Peyton.
know that Thomas.
Of course. Of course. I'm not gonna leave him out of there. Of course. I'll be a fool. Anyways, well, of course him. Peyton Manning. Definitely have Torrey Holt and Reggie Wayne in there. I definitely have those two.
Okay, so look, we're not finna all do this. So put it this way.
What?
Well, no, we're gonna backtrack real quick.
Okay.
If they only send one receiver this year,
Oh, one receiver for that. Okay.
yeah,
I got you. I got Torrey Holt.
yeah. If you're picking one, who's going? If
Okay.
they said we're only getting
I'm going
Okay.
that one receiver in this year, who you taking?
I'm going Reggie Wayne.
Okay.
I'm going Torrey Holt.
Okay. Cool. Finish your list, Spence. That's not just gonna
Got you.
do it
So
like everybody
one
else.
for Cowboy. I got you now. DBs. Charles Woodson. Picking him. I love Rondé. He had an amazing year when he was about to hang it up, but it's Charles Woodson. Whew. Well, for linebacker, I'm picking him. So let's knock that out. Defensive. I'm gonna give it to Seymour. Of course, the line. To be honest with you, I don't know them too, so I'm just gonna.
Alan Faneca, big Pittsburgh, and then he went to play for the Jets.
Oh well, that's why. But yeah.
Nah, he's definitely a Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm not doubting. I just never pay attention. Well, so yeah, those two. What else? Safeties.
The safeties, yeah.
John Lynch and who else? It's John Lynch and somebody. Anyways, I'm picking John Lynch on that one. So
now
it was Leroy Butler was the other safety.
Oh, Butler. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know too much about Leroy Butler. I would have to do some film
Yeah.
study, but he's not somebody that I know I've heard of his name, but I can't really, say that, he's somebody that I grew up idolizing or anything like that, because I definitely have some safeties that I idolize. But Leroy Butler is not somebody that is like a household name, but I'm sure he had a phenomenal career, especially the fact that he's being
he's
as a nominee.
Yeah, he made the finalist. So
just a real quick stat for everybody that is out there. I know everybody is talking about Rondé, Charles Woodson. Obviously they somewhat different caliber players. Obviously Charles Woodson is the more household name. He's definitely came out, top pick and etc. Just stats. Rondé Barber's career stats: 40 interceptions, 26 sacks, 1,059 tackles, 7 touchdowns, and 14 forced fumbles. Charles Woodson, 47 interceptions, 13 sacks, 809 tackles, 10 touchdowns, 27 forced fumbles. So both players respectfully, did their things throughout their career. Obviously, Charles Woodson having bigger stat numbers in interceptions with 7 plus, and forced fumbles 27, especially with him being a corner and at a latter part of his career becoming a free safety with 27 forced fumbles compared to Rondé's 14. Rondé lived more in the slot, so he has 26 sacks, which he was notorious for blitzing from the nickel spot. And obviously, having that many tackles, 1,059 over Charles Woodson's 809. So, just a real quick stat. Rondé is definitely deserving, but too soon, my opinion.
Yeah, so and it's not we're not discrediting nobody that's on the list. Obviously, you're
no,
for a reason, but somebody like we're looking at the list here. Clay Matthews is a finalist right now. While Clay Matthews was a great linebacker, he's a little more modern to me in the sense that he was just playing in the league not that long ago.
like last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Zach Thomas, though, that's somebody we grew up watching, and it's just different now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, it's Zach Thomas. But okay, let me get the list back up here for mine real quick. Obviously, Peyton Manning, we said that. I am in agreement with Vick. I'm going with Reggie Wayne. He's number 10 right now on the all-time wide receivers list. Top 10 all-time. I'm sorry. And he's already had to wait. This is not like his first time being eligible. Calvin Johnson, again, he retired early, so I don't feel like he should get that distinction to be a first ballot based off of that, even though, like we said, his numbers are there and his impact cannot be discounted. But if we're just doing it just based off the numbers and everything, and Reggie Wayne, I mean, again, Super Bowls don't count to me in regards to receivers. It's a dependent position. I don't look at it as the end all be all. But if it's a situation where I guess you're looking at a tiebreaker or something like that, or something in that sort, this man did win the Super Bowl. He was a big part of contributions to them winning that Super Bowl. So I'm taking Reggie Wayne though. Leroy Butler and John Lynch, kind of like Vick here, not too completely familiar with Leroy Butler. Would have to really check out some highlights.
Research that.
Yeah, but John Lynch, I know who that man is. Obviously, when he was with Tampa, and then with Denver, and even though they're not counting that, the things he's doing now in the front office and stuff with San Francisco. So
yeah,
John Lynch is just an all around household name, and yeah, he's definitely he would get my vote. Rondé and Charles Wilson. Well, I could see them both get in, but like I said, if we're just doing it off of if they were going to put in one defensive back, for me, again, it's Charles Wilson. It just goes without saying from days in college up to the league with Oakland. It seemed like he played most of his career in Oakland, and then it's like he had a whole second career
in Green Bay.
And you can argue which, like, if you were to cut his stats in half, you could argue which was the better career. Obviously, he ended up winning the Super Bowl with Green Bay. We know what happened in Oakland with the Tuck rule and Tom Brady. That's history in itself. He potentially probably could have won a Super Bowl in Oakland too. So, but yeah,
Charles Woodson has like the Kobe Bryant type career where
he can retire 2 jerseys. Yeah, he can hang 2 jerseys at the raft.
Yeah.
I got in a debate with my friend. He's a good friend who's a Packers fan, and I was saying, to me, he's more known for the Raiders. Like, I think of Charles Woodson, I think of him in that black and
Oakland.
Not to take, it's not discrediting the career he had in Green Bay, but it's just when I think about Charles.
There's certain teams that when you think of certain players, it's like, yeah, they're on that team, but this is how I remember him. Like, cool. Peyton Manning, yeah.
Like
Denver
Brady
was
right
cool.
Brady right now. Even let's say he wins the Super Bowl for the Bucs this year.
That's cool, but
When
he
you think
will
about
always
Brady,
be
he's always going to be
always be a Pat.
the Patriots, no matter what.
You
Like,
will always be a Pat. I don't care what. I don't care.
Peyton Manning is a Colt. When I
And
think
It's
Peyton Manning,
Colt.
I think Colt.
Far as Packer.
Yes.
And it doesn't. It helps out a lot too with Charles Woodson, with the fact that the way that he ended his career with.
Yeah, he did go back to
Raiders.
Oakland. Yeah, he did go back to Oakland after Green Bay.
Just a quick update: the Los Angeles Rams have pretty much sealed the game. They're up 30-13 against the Seattle Seahawks. So upset, and even though it's not really that much of an upset if you're looking at the numbers that Russell Wilson's has had versus the Los Angeles Rams, but yeah, just wanted to give that to y'all real quick.
Okay, let me finish up here with my list here. Out of D linemen, Jared Allen, Richard Seymour. That would be tough.
Yeah.
To me, when I think of Richard Seymour, I think about the New England dynasties that he was part of and everything. But I don't necessarily like think of him individually. Like I think of Teddy Bruschi and those other guys. Jared Allen by himself was a force. So for me, I would take Jared Allen over Richard Seymour. That's just me. Linebackers though, we already said Zach Thomas. I don't have to get into that. And then of course I'm going with my boy Alan Faneca. No disrespect to Baselli though, but yeah, Alan Faneca, that's that guy. That was that guy in Pittsburgh for a while. Protected Ben early in his career, and like I said, then he left and went and did other things. But yeah. So yeah, that would be our take on who we think was more or less going to get into the Hall of Fame once they narrow this list down. And I guess based on what Vick's, how you read it, potentially they all could get in technically. Yeah. In a sense, but like you said, they have to receive 80% of votes. So that's what's going to determine. So it's like Peyton Manning is probably going to get damn near 100% of the vote. Like I don't see who's going to be on the panel and be like, oh no, not Peyton.
No.
I don't think that's going to happen for him. So it's possible that they send all three receivers, or it's possible Rondé and Charles Woodson get in. But to make it so, I mean, if we were just going to pick everybody, there would be no point of this segment. So we have to narrow it down. If you were picking one, who's going in? Who would you take?
Right.
But with that being said, we can go ahead and go on to the next topic.
All right.